Coffee, coffee, coffee. It is coffee o'clock.
Dude, what are you doing?
Coffee o'clock.
Well, yeah, but it's time to record.
Oh, fuck.
All right, welcome to the Boys Podcast. Today we're going to talk about how the Indians are changing their name to the Guardians. What do you think about that, Jerry?
I don't know. I think we should start talking about the podcast idea before we get into our main topic here. You know.
Well, this is podcast number 1. I guess most podcasts don't make it past podcast number 7, so we're going to try to...
According to Google.
We're going to try to get past number 7. So, number 1, on our feet running.
We'll see maybe in our later episodes if we can get some guest speakers, you know. Some of our good old friends. So.
Yeah, some of the boys.
Who knows, though. I think it's going to be good. We're going to be able to have a lot of good conversations over this and see where it takes us, you know.
Yeah, hopefully we can get pretty far, kind of like Tom and Bert with their 2 bears, 1 cave.
But still don't have a strong name for the podcast that we're starting here. But
I was thinking Krusty Carnations, almost like a bad strip joint from Boston.
No, it's not a bad strip joint. It's a bad flower.
But you know, women like to call themselves flowers. They like to get flowers. Krusty, strip joint, Krusty.
That sounds like you jizzed on the top of a flower. I don't know. But yeah, how about these Indians, huh? I mean,
honestly,
first they get rid of Chief Wahoo because it's supposedly racist and affects the Native Americans, and you as having part Native American in you, how do you feel about that?
I think it's kind of bad. It's almost like how they took the land from the natives, you know? Kicked them out, kept the land. Kind of like kicked the name out, kept the team. If you're going to change the name, at least get rid of the team.
I don't agree on that, but I mean, yeah, I do. I understand the change of the name also, but I'm talking more about Chief Wahoo. How do you feel about that?
I think it's pretty bad. You know, they kept the uniforms.
Well, yeah, they kept the name, but they got rid of the
like
mascot.
what the fuck?
Yeah, I know. And they got rid of the face. I mean,
it's
the Indians have been the name of our Cleveland professional baseball team since 1901. It's over 100 years, and now we are finally getting rid of Indian. Well, all right, they've been established since 1901, I should say. The name started in like 1912 or 13 or 14 or something like that. It was early 1900s, but the name's been around for more than 100 years, and we're getting rid of it.
And it was modeled after one of our Native American players.
I know. But now we're going into the Guardians, which I'm pretty sure is a name of a
roller skating team.
Yeah, that's in Cleveland, right?
Yeah, they wanted to either sue them or make them change the name. But with the way the Guardians are going to go, they're just going to pay the roller skating team most likely so they can keep the name, or tell them, fuck you, change the name.
Yeah, they'll probably just tell the roller team. They'll probably give the roller team a couple $100,000 and they have them change their name.
Yeah, just to shut them up.
Yeah, I mean, they're a professional team themselves, but they definitely don't bring as much revenue into the city that the baseball team brings into. But I'm just mad that they're changing the name. I mean, they've got all this apparel out already that's been out for how many years,
right,
that people decorate their whole entire house with, you know.
And people are proud to be
a fan of the Indians. Yeah. And now you talk to these old-time fans, and they're all like, I don't like it. Like, it's dumb that they're changing the name. I'm not going to watch them anymore. Well, yeah, because they don't like the way that society is making things out to be, that they have to go out and change the name, and they only talk to, like, 3 people, and then they go, all right, we're changing the name. Because that's 3 people's opinions that got on TV.
Yeah.
Rather than going out and voting on it, you know?
Or actually having the real fans vote on it. The real fans, they wouldn't want to change the name. It's almost like if the Browns were to change the name.
Well, I know, but the Browns have been the Browns for so many years until they moved to Baltimore for a couple of years, and then they brought the Browns and bring the Browns back. But they started up the Browns again.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, the Browns have been the Browns because of Paul Brown. That went off, basically got kicked out of Cleveland, I'm pretty sure. Went off and into Cincinnati and then started the Bengals because I mean, he wanted a team for himself, and then basically got kicked out of Cleveland and went off down to the Bengals and coached them for a couple of years, and then. But we had Jim Brown too, so I mean, I don't know. The Browns I don't feel like are ever gonna change, but it's like, what if you did change that? And it's like, well, it just doesn't make sense, and it gets rid of all of the
history.
Yeah, history.
Like the amount of titles that the Indians have won, and then just go and change that.
Well, now I feel like since we were the Indians for so long, and now we're gonna become the Guardians or whatever, which I first of all hate the logo,
Yeah.
but I feel like they have to do a whole new record system. Like we have to have records for the Indians. Like these are the records that were made on the Indians, and if you didn't play on the Indians but you play on the Guardians, you're not able to break the records that the Indians set.
Yeah.
Now I feel like we have to be the Guardians and have a new record book.
Yes.
So longest home run, fastest pitch and stuff, you know?
Yeah.
It's just simple things like that, you know? How many games you played. But how are you supposed to keep the legacy of all these amazing players that did play for the Indians, you know? Omar Vizquel, for example, I mean, I know he's a coach for the Tigers now, which Detroit's our rival,
Yeah.
but
Or like fucking Kenny Lofton.
yeah, I mean,
Dude could run up the wall.
Yeah.
Take a home run away.
but now all these players that are still alive and that played for the Indians were Hall of Famers for the Indians, basically.
Yeah.
And
Like look at Bob Feller.
what are they gonna do? You know,
Bob Feller, he was in the Air Force.
how do they really feel about it?
Right. They're probably pissed as all hell.
It gets rid of all their history and everything that they did.
Yeah, it's almost like, oh, scrap it because society is offended. Whatever happened to sticks and stones?
Yeah, sticks and stones.
Everyone's too soft now. What's next? Are the Browns going to change their name because it's Browns?
Yeah, and it's
that
offensive.
Is that going to offend somebody? Is color going to offend somebody? What about shapes, you know?
I was gonna say we're gonna start getting offended for shapes and stuff, and letters.
Right.
The places that we're heading is not that great, and I don't know.
It's sad.
It's really sad. Society these days, though. I wonder, like, you know, we're not that old, but when we were in like kindergarten and preschool and stuff, they always taught us that sticks and stones may break your bones, but
Words
will
will
never hurt. What are they teaching the kids now?
Right.
I want to know that.
This person hates you. This person hates you. And get offended by everything.
Right.
I'm going to make sure my kids grow up to be the kind of kids that the other parents are like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Just to spite everybody. Because who wants their kid to be some loser who gets offended by everything, doesn't know how to stand up for himself? What's that going to show? We're becoming weaker?
Yeah.
What are other countries going to think
I was
of us?
gonna say, I mean,
They're mocking us already. They're already trying to move China and Russia and North Korea into Canada and Mexico so they can start an invasion on us.
Oh, I know. But these other countries that were like, all right, we're gonna get political here. All right, the other countries that didn't love Trump, but like they were fans of Trump. And then all of a sudden we got this guy that can't speak, you know?
Has to look at note cards.
And
Keeps telling everyone.
is clearly a twin or something. Like, he's not really there all the time. And
Yeah.
someone's being there for him. And sometimes he can speak, sometimes he can't speak. I don't get it. But our other countries are making fun of this.
Yeah. Or how he's always like, oh, if I answer that, I'll get in trouble. Who are you going to get in trouble with? You are the President of the United States.
Yeah, well, he said the one day, what do you want me to do, Nancy?
Right.
What does she have to do with anything?
I know.
You are the highest man in our country.
You are the commander-in-chief. You don't answer to fucking anybody.
Yeah, you can get vetoed and stuff, but it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah. You can answer your own goddamn questions like a man.
No one has to be telling you what to say. I don't get it. It's
Neither
the
do
country
I.
we live in.
Mm-hmm.
Great place, love the place, but the way that we're headed,
And
not looking good for our future.
And like the love for America in America has died. Other countries are waving our flag, wishing that they could be in America. And our own American citizens are like, nope, I don't like it here. If you don't like it, go somewhere else. There's so many other countries.
Go back to where you're from.
Yeah.
You know? I mean,
Or if you're not from there, go there. See what it's like. Figure out why America
Is the way that it was.
Yeah.
Not the way it is now.
Mm-hmm.
The way that it was.
The difference.
I mean, I was going to say, have you seen the difference of, like, of course, we were very young, the difference in, like, videos of, like, after 9/11, the first football game after 9/11 with the Cowboys and stuff. The amount of patriotic that we had is incredible compared to what we're going to have now. With our own black national anthem.
What the fuck is that about? If you're in America, you have one national anthem.
Yeah, we're not kneeling to it either.
Yeah, the American national anthem. You're in America, you are an American citizen.
We're going to get canceled for this.
Because of all you soft people out there.
Yeah, but if you are in America, I completely agree. There's the American national anthem for a reason. It's just like Canada has their own national anthem. Just about every country has their own national anthem for a reason. Because that's what they describe their country through in music.
Mm-hmm. They all came together. Now, inside of our own borders,
people are kneeling to it, talking hatred on it, burning flags.
You think the next civil war is about to break out.
Oh, I know. It's crazy. It's also crazy to think that, what was it that the other day that we saw? The Doritos Locos Taco has stood longer than the Confederacy.
Yeah.
8 years compared to 4? Yeah. That's crazy to think about, too.
Right.
And so many people still rep that flag. And with them getting rid of that flag and banning that flag too, which is really dumb too, because it's a part of our history. If you burn and get rid of these history books, then you're just going to repeat history.
Yeah.
I mean, the only way that you learn from your mistakes is through history.
Yeah.
Your past, you know?
We're basically turning into fascist Germany right now. Nazis.
Yeah.
Everything's being patrolled. Everything's being watched over.
I mean, with all of our technology.
They want you to register your gun so they can come and take it.
Yeah. They want you to pay for your text messages.
Yeah. They want you to pay for every mile.
Text messages.
Every mile. They want you to
that too, yeah.
record it.
And how are
so
you
they can
supposed to
tax
record
it.
that?
Record every mile. I guess either with these new vehicles they're going to start putting out, or they're going to make you go out and put something in your car so it can track every mile. Just because,
like an OBS sensor or something?
Yeah. Just because he's been wasting so much money and he has no way of getting it all back.
Oh, yeah, I know. I mean, and they're blaming it all on... They're saying Trump was the worst president for our economy. He put us in so much debt. Did they forget that we were forced to shut down for a pandemic?
Yeah. No one could have stopped that.
No. And they're saying that he's the worst...
Biden if he did that.
You remember at the beginning of Trump's term...
Yeah.
That he was the first president in I don't know how many years, since I want to say Adams, that finally made our debt start coming down. Mm-hmm. And he was paying off our debt, and our debt was going in a positive direction, not a negative direction.
Yeah.
He was the first president in I don't know how many years to actually do that. But then as soon as we hit this pandemic, things started going south for him really quickly because of how much we had to do to support our country with all these people that don't want to go work, all these people that want to live off of
welfare, basically.
Yeah, but it's
and stimulus checks.
Yeah, and we got to print money to do that, and before the pandemic, our money was worth more than the euro. The euro is about to be worth more than the American dollar.
Yeah,
and it's crazy to think about. I mean, we were once like the most wealthy and biggest country out there,
glamorized.
Per se. Yeah. And now we're getting put into the dumps. You know, we're not as great as we once were.
Yeah.
And it's hard to come back from that.
Mm-hmm. I hope soon something happens, especially with the evidence that came up that those states overnight that Biden supposedly won at 2 a.m, it all came back that Trump actually won those and that they've hit all of them and like made fakes for Biden to go in.
Well, yeah, and they're coming back and going through all of them, and
Yeah,
they're going through it one by one. I mean,
it's like I wonder what's going to happen next year, because now that they have all the evidence, what's going to happen now?
they're gonna go to a Supreme Court and they're gonna see what happens. You know.
And it's crazy because we don't know how something like this will play out. It's never happened before.
Never.
And it's all because of not the fascists, the communists coming into our country, going in. Like, look at Black Lives Matter. They flat out said that they support Marxism.
I know.
What? If you're in America, what are you supporting Marxism for? Go to, like, North Korea or something.
Right. I mean, the other thing, though, is all this stuff that does happen in our country that you see on the media and stuff is all controlled by the Democrats.
Yeah.
And it's all put on there by the Democrats for a reason. None of the important good stuff that has happened to our country has ever been put on the media. It always just gets passed over.
Yeah.
Because the Democrats don't want that shown.
And then you see it on, like, Facebook. You go to share it.
Yeah.
They shut it down.
Exactly. Or they
Any
block Trump
platform.
on Twitter.
Yeah. What?
That's our president.
Come on.
I don't know. But shift gears, talk about a different topic now. We're getting really political. But
Really heated.
let's talk about this. Where do you think this country is going to be in about 10 years with how everything is trying to go electric with our vehicles and stuff? Do you really think that America is the problem that is causing so much pollution? I doubt that we're the problem with causing so much pollution. I mean, for example, let's just look at Ohio alone. Cleveland used to be the most polluted city in Ohio.
Yeah.
But now it's kind of really not. They've gotten rid of a few factories.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's Toledo, I believe.
Yeah.
That's more polluted than Cleveland. I mean, you can't really say anything about Columbus because they never really had factories.
Yeah.
They're a really technology-driven city,
Mm-hmm.
which I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. But another thing is that Cleveland always had all of the e-checks surrounding, all those counties around Cleveland always had the e-checks, and they were mandatory, right?
Yeah.
So that was mandatory to get your car registered and keep it going so you can have your vehicle. They're talking about signing a bill to get rid of the e-check because the Cleveland area is not that polluted anymore. I don't know if they're going to say anything about Toledo because they never really said it ever helped anything or ever changed anything.
Yeah.
Because there's always been works around it. So I don't know what they're going to do with the pollution. I would say that America is not the cause of it anymore.
Yeah.
I will say that China is a huge problem with pollution, and they're not doing anything to fix it. And you see all this shit coming over the sea and then into California. And California just has huge mountains around it that makes all this smog sit in the air. And they go, well, California has so many pollution problems, blah, blah, blah. California doesn't have that many factories either.
Yeah.
You know, they're a big state, but
And
they
then
don't have that many problems. All of it's just coming over the sea from China.
And they try to blame it on our cars.
Yeah.
If it was such a problem before, why is it, or wasn't such a problem before, why is it such a huge problem now? What? 'Cause
Global warming?
Yeah, what? Because it's been around longer? No. If it was that detrimental then, a huge problem would have occurred then. They would have tried to switch over to electric cars and
Yeah.
whatnot. What? Because they didn't have the technology. Now that they do, they can start pointing fingers?
I would say they've always had the technology.
Yeah.
But I don't. Yeah,
And what-
they can start pointing fingers.
And with these electric cars, at say a gas station for instance, you go, there's a couple around the block.
Yeah, and
You can easily get to a gas station. An electric
5,
car
10
station.
minutes.
Yeah. An electric car charging station or whatever the hell they're going to call those. How many of those are they going to set up?
I'm gonna be
And how
honest.
many cars
right now,
can-
there are a lot around. You just don't see them that often because you're not looking out for them. You know,
Yeah. But like, how many cars can actually fit there? How long are they going to have to sit there?
or 2+ hours probably.
Yeah.
I mean, you think about how long does it take you to go to the gas station? You know, 5-10 minutes, not even. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, if you're running inside, you know, if you're just getting your car filled up and then leaving, no longer than a couple minutes.
Yeah.
Even like a big truck, 5 minutes at the max, I would say.
Yeah.
You know, we're talking about a semi now. They've got specific gas stations for a reason. They take a little longer. They've got bigger tanks, but they want to switch semis over to electric. How long are those going to take to charge up? You
Right.
know? How set back is that going to put the truck
Delivery.
drivers? How long is it going to take for your deliveries? You know?
Yeah.
I mean,
You have to think about all these little things, not just because, we
The
think it'll be
economy.
better.
yeah, the global warming, the environment. Well, yeah, all that's like we all have to worry about that in our own ways, but is it really going to hurt us in like 100-year span? You know?
Yeah.
I mean, we've been doing it for how many years? When did the first car come out?
I think around the early 1900s. It's definitely been over 100
Okay, so it's
years.
been over 100 years, you know? And what's been the problem now? Like, I mean, I get it, like, the cars, there's been a lot higher of a production of cars, and there's maybe a bigger influx of pollution because of that, but we also have gotten rid of a lot of factories. A lot of our factories have switched over to a better for our environment. So does that counterbalance and make things better?
Right.
You know, I mean, a lot of our factories have been destroyed because we don't need them anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, we don't really ever use coal factories anymore.
And half the time they just replace them with robots.
Yeah, but how long were those factories used?
Right. The Model T was made in 1908. It's been 113 years.
Exactly.
And everything was fine then. Now, this,
And they had
that.
factories back then
Yeah,
with coal mines and
thousands
stuff.
of factories.
Yeah. I mean,
And
you
all
can
those
only
trains.
do so much. Yeah.
All those trains constantly burning coal. Going all over the country.
And they
All-
never had a problem.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, I don't think it's good anymore. Oh, good. We thought that too. And then next thing you know, everything changes. Or you gotta love how most recently with their global warming stuff, I think it was somewhere up in the Arctic Circle, like so many gallons of water or ice melted away, and it's gonna cause all this rise. There's been pictures and evidence of NASA up at the Arctic Circle with all these machines to melt the ice.
Yeah.
Why? Leave it alone.
Exactly.
All those diseases that like permafrosted in there, we don't need that. More problem is going to come from that. Why?
I don't know if they're trying to stop, like, another, like, what is it called? It's happened twice to the planet.
Ice Age?
Yeah, I don't know if they're trying to stop another ice age, but what are they doing all that for, you know?
Right.
I mean, and then because they're doing that, because we're due for an ice age, probably to stop that, right? And now these people are saying global warming. Really?
Come on.
Exactly. You know what? I think we shouldn't even be worried about global warming. We should be more worried about how much this planet can take for population.
Yeah.
I mean, we're almost overpopulated and we don't have enough food to go around.
Yeah.
I mean, what can you do about that?
Yeah, the planet is a living, breathing thing. If it wanted, like, all of the industries and industrials type of stuff to stop, something would happen by now.
Oh, yeah.
Because look at it before. Pangea. And then everything broke apart. That was the planet doing it. Everyone thinks, it's just a floating rock. No, it's alive.
Right. I mean, it shifts all the time with its
Yeah.
plates.
So, if like the planet wanted us to stop, something would happen by now. Something catastrophic, almost like an apocalypse.
Right.
It would happen by now.
I agree. And, I mean, not saying that the planet's response was COVID,
Yeah.
because that wasn't really the planet.
Yep.
That was doctors testing in China.
And Fauci was 100% behind it and then lied about it.
I know, and they still deny it.
And yet they're still continuing it with it.
How do you argue with a senator?
Right.
We're
senator.
back on politics. But yeah, I know what you're saying. So I understand with how the world is agreeing more than disagreeing, I feel. Like the planet itself, not the world. The world itself with the people, they're all agreeing, disagreeing, and they all have different opinions. Which you're allowed to have your own opinion. You can voice your own opinion. But that's how the world works. You voice your own opinion. Doesn't mean that everything has to be changed based on one person's opinion.
Yeah.
You know? Oh, someone was hurt and their feelings were hurt because of the Indian's name. You know?
Get over it.
I know. I mean, even the Washington Redskins. You know how many teams there are named after Native Americans?
Well, the Redskins I can kind of understand because the whole term of Redskin, they would skin an Indian and then turn its skin inside out and call them the Redskins. So
Yeah.
that one's a little understandable.
Okay, agreeable.
Yeah.
But I'm saying who made that decision?
Right.
You know? Who said it
This
was
whole
offensive?
this whole cancel culture thing. Who's behind all that? Couple upset
teenagers?
Yeah, a couple upset teenagers on Twitter saying this is bad.
Tried canceling Eminem and
Right. Yeah, you see how that went.
Yeah.
Eminem completely crushed her, and look, he's still
Eminem.
didn't even phase him.
Nope.
Just another song.
Yup. Back to the cars. Back to the electric cars. What do you think about the electric cars though? Like, do you think it is a good thing for our...
No.
You don't think so?
No, because all the stuff that goes into a battery.
Yeah. It's
A
bad
set-
for the company.
yeah.
It's bad for the environment, but it's bad for the environment in long term.
Yeah.
You know?
Gas,
At first it's not.
gasoline, and all that stuff. That's fossil fuel. We pulled it up, concentrated it, made it to where it can power something.
And they keep saying like, oh, we're running out of fossil fuels and gas and blah blah blah. Well, technically, we're not.
Yeah.
You know, like there's a lot of natural gas and oil and that has just not been found yet.
Mm-hmm.
Because throughout all these years that we keep going on, there's more being made naturally by the environment and the earth, you know? All these fossils and all this stuff that has been in the ground for so many years is slowly turning into more natural gas and oil and stuff. So throughout the years as we harvest it, more is being created.
Yeah.
So how is it actually running out?
Exactly. It's almost like a scavenger hunt.
Right.
Say someone spread out all these glasses of water. You drink one. Oh, let's go find another one. And then that one refills that you just drank.
Yeah, exactly.
There's more. You just got to look for it.
But then then people are like, you gotta stop fracking. It's bad for the earth. Is it? I mean,
It's almost
is it
like,
really that bad? It's
almost like
just
draining a
because
pimple.
you don't want it.
Right.
Right. It is kind of like that, you know? But it's more or less because people don't want it, not if is it really bad for the earth.
Yeah.
You know?
All because they want to push this different agenda. Like, let's try this. All right. How are we going to do that? We'll say this is bad so we can convince everyone that this way is better. Okay. And then they go out.
And then they say electric cars are better.
Yeah.
But let's actually talk about this topic of electric cars. We have been, of course, but electric cars is kind of going in a very strong direction. I mean, a lot of people have invested into different type of electric companies, and they've been around for years. They haven't just, Tesla. That was not the start of electric car. I mean, there's been hybrids for years that have been electric and gasoline, which I think is your better option because that sells more. It just doesn't focus on one specific type of like group of people. So with Tesla, yeah, they're a great brand. A huge brand. I mean, Elon Musk is a genius, and he doesn't have any specific political views. He just believes that he wants to do best for the planet.
Yeah.
And I love that because he also wants to try and give more people more options rather than just staying on this planet of going to Mars, which is amazing.
Yeah, we're supposed to go in 24.
Right, exactly. But with that also just attracts a certain type of people.
Yeah.
Now we can talk about the Prius. That's been around for years that
Yeah.
it's been hybrid. It's been electric and gas, and it's sold really well to a specific type of crowd.
Mm-hmm.
You're still gonna have that crowd that wants that naturally aspirated V8.
Yeah.
And you're not gonna turn them into electric people. It's just not gonna happen. They want that sound. They want that feeling. They want that gratitude.
And how much is it going to cost people? Say,
I mean, they have made a Tesla more affordable, and they want to say 30 or 40 grand for the Model 3, which is great. But think about it in this way: you pay 30 grand for that car. The problem that they have not been able to fix yet is that, say the engine goes on the Tesla. It's happened to many Teslas out there. That engine and that battery is worth more than the actual car to replace.
yeah,
It's cheaper to make it, but to get all the work done, all the labor hours,
Mm-hmm.
and then to buy the part, which is, I want like 10 or 15 grand to buy that part itself, and then all the labor hours and how much work it's going to take to actually fix that, you're looking at 50 grand. I mean,
Yeah.
it's more than what your car is worth.
Mhm.
And then what's the point of that? I mean, who has the money for that? When
Exactly.
you can just go out and get another V8 in your truck,
or
and it would be $2,500.
or if like money's tight, you can get a beater. So,
Right.
What about like all these lower class Americans? How are they supposed to pay for something so luxurious when
They can barely make rent
right?
because
They have a
to
beater
live
as
on the
their
government.
main car.
I know. You can't. It just doesn't work. It's not a good decision. Yeah, it's a great decision for a specific type of crowd,
Yeah,
but not for the whole
high
entire
rollers.
country. I wouldn't say high rollers, but I would say upper middle class for
Yeah.
sure. I mean, people that can afford one or two vehicles for themselves,
Mm-hmm.
not just like, oh, my wife has a vehicle and I have a vehicle, or I shouldn't just say wife. Your significant other has a vehicle and you have another, because we're gonna get canceled if I specifically say one gender or the other.
Right.
So, to accommodate to more people, they still make these naturally aspirated engines. And they still make that vehicle for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Because not everyone can afford the brand new $50,000 Tesla that's got all these huge features. But then the problem lies again is, what if I have to be somewhere and I've only got 5 miles left?
Right.
Because last night I went to sleep and it said I had 50 miles on my vehicle and I gotta drive to work that's 10 miles down the road in the morning, and I forgot to put it on charge because I was really tired after work, went in, ate dinner, and just fell asleep.
Right.
You know? Alright, forgot to put it on charge. So I wake up in the morning and my battery was slowly trickling and not saving the mileage. And then what? It says I've got 5 miles left to go and I'm not going to be able to make it to work because I woke up late.
Right.
It was a long day at work yesterday and I woke up late this morning, and I don't have that extra hour of time I would normally have to put my car on charge and eat breakfast and get dressed, take a shower, go to work. Now I've got to get dressed, take a quick shower, grab something to take with me to eat while I drive to work, and I'm not going to be able to make it to work.
Yeah.
What happens if you don't have that electric vehicle?
Right. At least with a gas tank, you can watch it go down. Everyone knows, oh, I'm getting low on gas. I have to fill up before I go home. It's common sense.
Hey, you can't always trust batteries. How often do your batteries die in your remote for your TV, you know?
Or your phone. How fast does that thing die, or you forget to charge it?
Right. You can leave your phone on, or you can turn your phone off, and over time, it's still going to die.
Yeah.
Is it the same thing with the car?
Especially since it's all electric.
Right. Is it a lithium-ion battery? You know?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that what's in your phone?
I think so.
All right. They both die over time,
Yeah.
I believe, and then they don't hold the same charge over time. Like, how many times have you gone and gotten a new phone because your phone was dying a lot quicker than it used to?
Right.
because the battery wasn't holding as much. They now have made a thing in your settings that you can go in and check your battery life. And it'll say, oh, your battery capacity is only 86% instead of 100.
Mm-hmm.
Because it died over time.
And yet you've only had it for a year.
Right, exactly. I mean, I've done it probably 2 or 3 times where I've had to go get a new phone because it doesn't charge all the way and it dies in an hour.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I don't know. I don't know why I completely agree for a specific type of crowd. But I don't agree for myself because it just doesn't do what I need it to do.
Mm-hmm. And the specific crowd always forgets to think about the common working American.
Yeah.
They only think about money this, money that. Mommy and daddy will buy it.
How I know the Cybertruck can do what my truck can do. But my truck will never have a problem with doing what I need it to do, pulling stuff, putting stuff in it, whatever it needs to do. It'll never have a problem with what it needs to do because it's been thought about for years.
And developed over time.
Right. But what about the Cybertruck? It's brand new.
No one
And
knows anything about it, really, other than the maker.
Right. And is it going to not perform the same way after a couple of years? You
Right.
know? I don't know. I mean, if you start abusing it the way that you abuse a truck when you're working, you know, you're loading it up with mulch, gravel, whatever it may be, wood, or you're towing your boat, your four-wheeler, your lawnmowers, anything, you know, you're hooking up a big trailer to it and towing. Is that Cybertruck going to be able to handle that abuse over years?
Right.
That doesn't replace my truck, you know?
Mm-hmm.
How am I supposed to trust that to be reliable for me every day? Yeah, sometimes my truck has problems and whatever, but you expect that.
Yeah.
You know,
You know
ball
about it.
joint
There's
here, ball
research
joint
about
there, right? Shocks, whatever it may be. But there's no research out on that. If I can put a better suspension on it so that I can tow more or haul more, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know anything about that. No one does. Well, except, of course, the creator.
Yeah.
But maybe I'm not doing my right research. I'm not reading the right things about it. But I just don't feel like that would be the reliable resource that I need rather than just using the V8 that I already have. You
Right.
know?
And at least with gas-powered cars, there's at least been years of trial and error. There's at least things you can go and find, watch, research, because there's been this model that had this problem, so they came out, fixed it, did this to it. And then this model with that problem, they came out and fixed it.
Yeah, but nowadays they're starting to charge you like 70 grand for a new truck, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, you can get a brand new work truck with all the bells and whistles that you need to go and work. 60 grand, you know?
Yeah.
But the other thing about it is, not to hate on Ram, but now they're coming out with plastic
Yeah, what?
upper control arms.
Come on.
Come on.
Plastic.
That's going to break.
One
I told
pothole.
one thing.
One pothole and that thing's trash.
Yeah, I put a trailer on that and hit one pothole. It's breaking.
Then you're on the side of the road. Everyone's looking at you stupid for buying a Ram.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't know where their head was when they decided to do that. I know over years that they've had a lot of rust problems, and maybe they're like, well, this will fix our rust problems. I don't know if that's the route they were trying to go, but I don't think that they're doing the right thing. Maybe they should have gone with like some stainless steel or something.
Or maybe
would have made it a
coating
little bit more expensive. But what?
Coating it, putting something on it.
Well, yeah. I mean, but that's also onto the owner. You know, you've got to constantly stay up with that. You got to undercoat it on oil.
I'm
Spray
talking
it,
straight
but-
from the factory. Dip it in something to coat it, so that way you don't have to worry
It
about
chips over years. I mean, that's the
Yeah.
problem with it. So I mean, you go to some dealerships nowadays, and if they have a truck that comes in, some dealerships, not all of them, they'll undercoat the truck to make it look nicer and pleasable for the customer, which is nice of them to do.
Yeah.
But that's not a requirement of a dealership nowadays. So you get your truck undercoated before you get it. You know, your brand new 2022. Chevy Silverado 2500 gets undercoated by this dealership, okay, but you're probably good for about a year or two. Then you have to do it again yourself. You can't just not worry about it.
Right.
You got to stay up with it. That's why the coating method is great at first, but after about 2 years, you gotta stick with it, and that's how you keep that nice and clean vehicle, which is one of the problems with every vehicle on the road.
Yeah.
You can't get away from that unless you're in a southern state that does not have snow and ice that has to salt their roads.
Right.
But we unfortunately do not live there.
And you'd get the same problem even with an electric vehicle because it's still everything underneath as it would be in a gas power. Just
Yeah.
it's powered differently.
Right. I mean, you still have to have suspension.
Yeah.
You know, axles to spin the wheels.
And what are they going to do? Plastic parts?
Yeah, I know. But what can you do when that's what they want to make? I mean, every company's gonna make a mistake here and there, and plenty of auto companies like GM, Chrysler, and Ford have made their own mistakes throughout the years with doing things that they think would be
Better.
and revolutionize the truck industry or any type of industry with automobile, but have actually not done that well.
Yeah.
There's many things that they have created that has revolutionized the truck and auto field, but more times than not, we see the negative over the positive because that is how the society is today.
And especially when you go to research something like a vehicle, for instance, you find a lot more negative than you do positive.
Yep. It's just how the world is today, I guess. I don't
Yeah.
know. But that's how it is, and I think that's how we're gonna end our podcast today. I think that was pretty good. Talking for our first podcast, had a couple good conversation there.
Yeah, a couple good topics. Just to get the ball rolling,
Yeah.
feet in water.
Yeah. So
Thanks for giving us a listen. If
you got any advice?
any suggestions for us to talk about, any topics you want to hear brought up,
Any name advices too?
yeah, any
Intro advices too?
we got a pretty good intro.
I know we do.
Any suggestions for a name? Just shoot. All right.
Appreciate it.
Catch you later.
See you later.